Hello, wonderful learners. Welcome to English in Advance. I am your host, Jessica, and I am so happy that you have decided to join me today for this special learning session. Today, we are going to embark on a journey together. We are going to spend a significant amount of time focusing on real-life English conversations. This is a 1-hour listening and speaking practice session designed specifically to help you learn English with podcast content that feels natural and helpful. Before we dive into our first topic, I want to remind you to subscribe to the English in Advance channel if you have not done so already. By subscribing, you ensure that you never miss a lesson and you become part of our wonderful community of learners from all around the world. Also, please click the like button on this video because it helps other students find our lessons and improve their English skills just like you. Now take a deep breath and relax. Learning English should be enjoyable and stress-free. Today, we are not just going to memorize lists of words. Instead, we are going to listen to how English is actually spoken in real-life situations. We will break down conversations, explain the grammar and vocabulary in simple terms, and give you plenty of opportunities to practice speaking along with me. The best way to use this lesson is to listen carefully, and when I ask you to repeat a phrase, please say it out loud. Speaking out loud helps your mouth muscles get used to the shapes and sounds of English. Let us start with the most fundamental part of any language, which is the greeting. When you meet someone for the first time, or even when you see a friend, you already know the way you say hello sets the tone for the rest of the conversation. In textbooks, you often learn the phrase, "How are you?" and the response, "I am fine, thank you." While this is correct, grammar native speakers often use more casual and natural expressions. Today, we are going to practice those natural alternatives so you can sound more like a local speaker. Imagine you run into a friend named Sarah at a coffee shop. You would not just say hello. You might say, "Hi Sarah, it is so good to see you." Let us look at that phrase. It is so good to see you. This expresses warmth and happiness. Repeat that after me. It is so good to see you. Now imagine Sarah responds. She might say, "Hey, I haven't seen you in ages." The phrase "in ages" is a very common way to say "for a very long time." It is an exaggeration, but we use it all the time to show that a long time has passed. So if you see a friend you haven't seen in a few months, you can say, "I haven't seen you in ages." Let us go deeper into this conversation. After the initial greeting, you usually ask about their life. Instead of just saying, "How are you?" try asking how you have been. This is the present perfect tense, and it asks about the time from the last time you saw them until now. It shows you are interested in their recent history. How have you been? Repeat that. How have you been? A common answer to this is not just fine. A native speaker might say, "I have been pretty good," or "I have been keeping busy." When someone says, "I have been keeping busy," it means they have had a lot of work or activities to do, but generally in a positive or neutral way. It is a great answer when you do not want to give too many details, but you want to keep the conversation moving. Let us practice this exchange. I will ask the question and you give the answer, "I have been keeping busy." Ready? How have you been? Now you say it. Excellent. Now let us move into a slightly different scenario, which is meeting someone for the very first time. This is often where students feel nervous, but there is no need to worry because there is a standard formula we can use. Imagine you are at a party or a networking event. You see someone you do not know. You can simply walk up and say, "Hi, I don't think we have met. I am Jessica." This is a polite and confident way to introduce yourself. The phrase, "I don't think we have met," is a gentle opener. It acknowledges that you are strangers, but invites a connection. After you say your name, the other person will say theirs. For example, they might say, "Hi, Jessica. I is Tom." The classic response is, "Nice to meet you." However, to sound even more fluent, you can say, "It is a pleasure to meet you." This sounds a bit more formal and very polite. Or you can simply say, "Lovely to meet you," which is very common in British English, but understood everywhere. Let us try the phrase, "Lovely to meet you." Repeat after me. Lovely to meet you. Once the introductions are over, the conversation usually moves to small talk. Small talk is very important in English culture. It is the polite conversation we make about unimportant things to avoid silence and to make the other person feel comfortable. The most common topic for small talk is the weather. It might seem boring, but talking about the weather is a safe way to connect with anyone. If it is a sunny day, you might say, "It is such a beautiful day today, isn't it?" That little tag at the end, "isn't it?" invites the other person to agree with you. If the weather is cold, you might say, "I can't believe how cold it is today." This shows strong emotion and invites the other person to share their feelings about the cold. Let us practice a weather phrase. Imagine it is raining very hard. You can say, "It is pouring outside." Pouring means raining very heavily. Repeat that. It is pouring outside. Now let us transition from greetings and small talk to something very practical, which is talking about your daily routine. This is a topic that comes up often when you are getting to know someone. They might ask you, "What do you do for fun?" or "What is your typical day like?" To answer this, we mostly use the simple present tense because we are talking about habits and facts. Let us build a story about a typical day. Imagine you are telling a new friend about your morning. You could say, "I usually wake up around 7. Note the word usually. Adverbs of frequency, like usually, often, always, and sometimes, are very important here. They add detail to your sentence. I usually wake up around 7. Then I have a cup of coffee and check my emails. This sequence is very common. We use words like then, afterwards, and next to connect our actions. Let us make this more complex and interesting. Instead of just listing facts, add some feelings. You could say, "I am not a morning person, so I need my coffee to wake up." The phrase, "I am not a morning person," is a very natural way to say that you find it difficult to be energetic in the morning. Many people can relate to this. If you are the opposite, you can say, "I am an early bird." An early bird is someone who loves waking up early and is productive in the morning. Which one are you? Are you a morning person or an early bird? Let us practice saying, "I am not a morning person." Repeat after me. I am not a morning person. Continuing with the daily routine, let us talk about work or study. You might say, "I head to work at 8:30. To head to somewhere means to go there. It is more casual than saying, "I go to work." I head to work. Try saying that. I head to work. When you are at work, you might have a busy schedule. You could describe your day by saying, "My mornings are usually packed with meetings." The word packed here means very full. It paints a picture of a busy schedule. If your day is relaxed, you might say, "I have a pretty chilled day today." Chilled is a slang word for relaxed or easygoing. Using words like packed and chilled makes your English sound much more advanced than just using busy or easy. Let us pretend you are having lunch with a colleague. This is a real-life conversation scenario. You are sitting down and you want to ask them about their food. You can ask, "That looks delicious. What are you eating?" It is a simple question, but it shows interest. If they offer you a taste, you can say, "Oh, no, thank you. I am full." Or if you want to try it, you can say, "I would love a bite, thanks." Being polite with food is very important. If you are at a restaurant and you need to call the waiter, you do not shout. You simply make eye contact and raise your hand slightly or say, "Excuse me." When ordering, it is polite to use phrases like "I would like" or "could I have" instead of "I want." For example, "I would like the chicken salad, please." This sounds much softer and more polite. Let us practice ordering a coffee. Repeat this phrase. "Could I have a large latte, please?" Your turn. "Could I have a large latte, please?" Very good. Now let us move on to talking about hobbies and free time. This is where you can really show your personality. When someone asks, "What do you do in your free time?" you have a chance to connect with them. Instead of just saying, "I like reading," try to expand on it. You can say, "I am really into reading historical novels." The phrase "to be into something" means to be very interested in it. It is a great alternative to "I like." For example, "I am really into cooking right now," or "I am really into playing soccer." Let us practice this structure. Think of something you enjoy. Now say "I am really into" and add your hobby. "I will give you a moment." That sounded great. Sometimes you need to express that you do not like something. In English, we often try to soften negative statements so we do not sound rude. Instead of saying, "I hate golf," you can say, "I am not a huge fan of golf." This conveys the same meaning, but it is much more polite and socially acceptable. "I am not a huge fan of." Repeat that phrase. "I am not a huge fan of." You can use this for food, movies, or activities. For example, "I am not a huge fan of spicy food." This is a very useful phrase to have in your vocabulary because it helps you navigate social situations gracefully. Let us weave these elements into a longer narrative conversation. Imagine you are meeting a friend named Mike for lunch. You arrive at the restaurant and you see him waiting. You walk up and say, "Hey Mike, sorry, I am a bit late. The traffic was terrible." This is a very common real-life apology. Traffic is a universal excuse and usually people understand. Mike responds, "No worries. I just got here myself." No worries is a friendly way to say it is okay or do not worry about it. You sit down and look at the menu. You ask Mike, "Have you been here before?" This is a great question to start a conversation at a restaurant. If he says yes, he can recommend something. If he says no, you can explore the menu together. Mike says, "Yes, I come here all the time. The burgers are amazing." Now you have a recommendation. You decide to order the burger. You tell the waiter, "I will have the burger, please, and could I get that without onions?" Asking for changes to a meal is very common. The phrase "without onions" or "with extra cheese" is how we customize our order. After you order the food, the conversation shifts to your lives. Mike asks, "So how is the new job going?" You started a new job recently and he wants to know about it. You can be honest, but keep it balanced. You might say, "It is challenging, but I am learning a lot." This is a positive way to frame a difficult situation. It shows you have a good attitude. Or you might say, "I am really loving it. The team is great." When we talk about work, we often mention the people we work with, which we call the team or colleagues. If the job is stressful, you might say, "It has been pretty hectic lately." Hectic means very busy and fast-paced. Let us practice the word hectic. Repeat after me. "It has been pretty hectic lately." Now I want to take a moment to talk about listening skills. In a conversation, listening is just as important as speaking. You need to show the other person that you are engaged. We do this using active listening sounds and short phrases. Words like really or wow or that is interesting are crucial. If Mike tells you he just bought a new car, you should not just sit silently. You should say, wow, that is exciting. What kind of car is it? These little reactions keep the energy of the conversation high. If someone tells you bad news, for example, they lost their wallet, you should change your tone and say, oh no, that is terrible. Matching your emotion to the news is key to empathy. Let us practice a reaction to good news. I will say, I just passed my English exam. You say, that is amazing, congratulations. Ready, I just passed my English exam. Now you, excellent. Let us move on to talking about future plans. This is another major topic in daily conversation. We often use the going to structure for plans we have already made. For example, I am going to visit my parents this weekend. This shows a decided plan. We also use the present continuous tense for future arrangements. I am meeting Sarah on Friday. This implies it is a fixed appointment. If you are not sure about your plans, you can use words like might or maybe. I might go to the movies, but I am not sure yet. This shows uncertainty. Let us practice talking about the weekend. I want you to think about what you are doing next weekend. If you have no plans, you can say, I am just going to take it easy. To take it easy means to relax and do nothing stressful. It is a wonderful phrase. Repeat after me. I am going to take it easy this weekend. Now let us discuss how to end a conversation politely. You cannot just walk away. You need to signal that the conversation is ending. Common phrases include, it was great catching up with you, or I should probably get going. Catching up refers to the act of updating each other on your lives. So it was great catching up means you enjoyed hearing their news. The phrase I should probably get going is a soft way to say, I need to leave now. It suggests that you have other things to do, but you are reluctant to leave. After that, you say goodbye. You can say see you later or take care. Take care is a very warm and friendly way to say goodbye. Let us practice the exit. Repeat this full sentence. It was great chatting with you, but I should get going. Your turn. Very natural. We have covered a lot of ground so far, from greetings to daily routines to restaurant talk and ending conversations. I want to pause here and remind you that learning English is a marathon, not a sprint. It takes time and practice. Do not feel discouraged if you do not understand every single word immediately. The goal is to understand the general meaning and to get comfortable with the rhythm of the language. Listen to how my voice goes up and down. This intonation adds meaning to the words. When I ask a question, my voice often goes up at the end. When I make a statement, it goes down. Mimicking this musicality will help you sound more like a native speaker. Let us add another layer to our practice today, which is asking for help or clarification. In real-life conversations, you will not always understand what people say. That is normal. You need to know how to ask them to repeat themselves without feeling embarrassed. You can say, sorry, I did not catch that. This is much better than just saying, what? What can sound a bit rude? Sorry, I did not catch. That is polite and puts the blame on you not hearing rather than them speaking badly. Or you can say, could you please speak a little slower? Most people will be happy to help you. Another useful phrase is, what does that mean? If you hear a new word, ask about it. Natives love explaining their language. Let us practice the polite request. Sorry, I didn't catch that. Could you repeat it? Try saying that. Wonderful. Now let us focus on a specific scenario involving travel. Many of you are learning English because you want to travel. Imagine you are at an airport. You need to find your gate. You approach an airline employee. You start with, "Excuse me." Always start with "excuse me" to get attention politely. Then you ask, "Where is gate 42?" The employee might say, "Go straight down the hall and turn left." Directions are very important. Go straight, turn left, turn right, go past the coffee shop. Visualize these movements. Go past means you walk by it but do not stop. Let us practice giving a direction. Imagine someone asks you where the bathroom is. You say, "It is down the hall on your right." Repeat that. It is down the hall on your right. Another travel scenario is checking into a hotel. You walk to the reception desk. You say, "Hi, I have a reservation under the name Jessica." The receptionist will ask for your ID and credit card. You hand them over and say, "Here you go." Here you go is a phrase we use whenever we hand something to someone. It is very common. Then you might ask, "Is breakfast included?" This is an important question. If they say yes, you ask, "What time is breakfast served?" These are practical questions that will help you in real life. Let us practice the phrase, "Here you go." Pretend you are handing someone a passport. Say, "Here you go." We are also going to touch on the topic of family. People love to talk about their families. A common question is, do you have any siblings? Siblings is the collective word for brothers and sisters. You can answer, "Yes, I have one brother and two sisters." Or, "No, I am an only child." An only child means you have no brothers or sisters. You might also talk about your parents. "My parents live in a different city, so I do not see them very often." Or, "I am very close to my family." Being close to your family means you have a good relationship and talk often. Let us practice describing family. Say, "I come from a big family." Now say, "I come from a small family." Whichever is true for you, say it with confidence. Let us return to the concept of feelings and emotions. English has many adjectives to describe how we feel beyond just happy or sad. If you are very tired, you can say, "I am exhausted." Exhausted means extremely tired. If you are very happy, you can say, "I am thrilled." Thrilled means very excited and happy. If you are scared, you might say, "I am terrified." Using these strong adjectives makes your English more expressive. Imagine you just finished a long run. You would not just say, "I am tired." You would say, "I am exhausted." Imagine you just got a promotion at work. You would say, "I am thrilled." Let us practice. I will give you a situation and you say the strong adjective. You have been working for 12 hours straight. How do you feel? You should have said, "I am exhausted." You are going on a dream vacation tomorrow. How do you feel? You should have said, "I am thrilled." As we continue this hour of practice, I want you to pay attention to the little connecting words I am using. Words like actually, basically, and honestly. These are called filler words or discourse markers. We use them to smooth out our speech. For example, if someone asks, "Do you like ice cream?" you might say, "Actually, I prefer frozen yogurt." The word actually signals that you are correcting an assumption or giving surprising information. If someone asks, "What is the plan?" you might say, "Basically, we are going to meet at the park." Basically signals that you are giving a summary. And honestly is used when you are sharing a real opinion. "Honestly, I did not like that movie." Using these words correctly will make you sound very fluent. Let us try using actually. Someone asks, "Are you American?" You answer, "Actually, I am Canadian." Or whatever your nationality is, try it. Actually, I am your nationality. We have covered the essentials of meeting people and daily routines. Now we are going to step up the difficulty just a little bit. We are going to tackle situations that often make learners nervous, but are absolutely necessary for living or working in an English-speaking environment. We are going to talk about using the telephone solving problems and navigating complex social interactions like giving advice and shopping. I want you to stay relaxed and keep your mind open. Remember that making mistakes is part of the process, so do not be afraid to speak out loud even if you stumble. We are doing this together. Let us start with one of the most challenging tasks for any language learner, which is speaking on the telephone. Talking on the phone is difficult because you cannot see the other person's face. You cannot see their lips moving or their hand gestures, which usually help you understand the meaning. You rely entirely on your ears. Because of this, we use specific phrases on the phone to make sure everything is clear. Let us imagine you are calling a business. When someone answers, you need to state who you are and why you are calling immediately. You do not usually say, "I am Jessica." On the phone, we say, "This is Jessica." It is a small difference, but it is very important. Repeat that after me. This is Jessica. After that, you state your purpose using the phrase "I am calling to." For example, "I am calling to make an appointment," or "I am calling to speak with the manager." Let us combine them. This is Jessica, and I am calling to make an appointment. Your turn. This is Jessica, and I am calling to make an appointment. Sometimes the person you want to speak to is not available. The receptionist might say, "I'm sorry, he is not in right now." You then have two choices. You can call back later or leave a message. If you want to leave a message, you say, "Could I leave a message, please?" This is a polite request. If you want to call back, you say, "No problem. I will call back later." There is also a very common phrasal verb we use here, which is to hold. If the receptionist asks you to wait, they will say, "Can you hold for a moment?" To hold means to wait on the line. You should answer, "Sure, I can hold." Let us practice that interaction. The receptionist says, "Can you hold, please?" You say, "Sure, no problem. Go ahead. Sure, no problem." Now let us deal with technical difficulties. Mobile phones do not always have perfect reception. If the sound is cutting in and out, we use the phrase, "You are breaking up." This does not mean the relationship is ending. It simply means the signal is bad. You can say, "I am sorry you are breaking up. I cannot hear you very well." If the call disconnects completely, we say, "The call dropped." When you call them back, you can explain, "Sorry, we got cut off." This is the standard way to explain a dropped call. Let us practice the phrase for bad signal. Repeat after me. "I am sorry you are breaking up." One more time. "I am sorry you are breaking up." Moving on from the phone, let us talk about making and changing plans. We often have to schedule appointments for the doctor, the dentist, or a haircut. When you call, you might ask, "Do you have any openings on Tuesday?" An opening is a free time slot. If they say yes, they will offer a time. You can confirm by saying, "That works for me." "That works for me" means the time is suitable and you accept it. However, life is unpredictable, and sometimes you need to change your plans. This brings us to a very useful idiom, which is "something came up." We use this when an unexpected event happens, and we cannot give details or do not want to give details. You call and say, "I am so sorry, but something came up and I need to reschedule." To reschedule means to move the appointment to a different time. You might also hear the phrasal verb push back. Can we push back our meeting to 3 o'clock? This means to move it to a later time. Let us practice canceling politely. Repeat this sentence. I am sorry something came up. Can we reschedule? Your turn. I am sorry something came up. Can we reschedule? Excellent. Now I want to shift gears to a more social topic, which is giving and receiving advice. Friends often talk about their problems, and knowing how to respond shows that you are a good friend and a good English speaker. If a friend tells you they are having trouble with their boss, you should first show empathy. You can use phrases like, I am sorry to hear that, or that sounds really tough. After you show empathy, you might want to give advice. In English, we avoid being too direct with advice because it can sound bossy. Instead of saying, you must quit your job, we use softer phrases like, have you thought about, or if I were you, I would. For example, if I were you, I would talk to him directly. This is the second conditional grammar structure used for hypothetical situations. If I were you, I would. Let us practice this structure. Imagine your friend is tired. You say, if I were you, I would get some rest. Try it. If I were you, I would get some rest. Another way to give advice is using the phrase, you might want to. This is a suggestion that leaves the choice to the other person. You might want to update your resume. You might want to try a different approach. It is very gentle and polite. Sometimes the best thing you can do is just listen. In that case, you can say, I am here for you if you need to talk. This is a very supportive phrase. Let us practice support. Say, I am here for you. Very good. Let us move into the world of shopping. Whether you are buying clothes, groceries, or electronics, there are specific phrases that will help you. When you enter a shop, a sales assistant might approach you and ask, can I help you? If you are just browsing and do not need help yet, you can say, I am just looking, thanks. This signals that you are fine on your own. If you are looking for something specific, you say, I am looking for. For example, I am looking for a pair of jeans. Note that jeans are plural, so we say a pair of jeans just like a pair of shoes. If you find the jeans but you want to check the size, you ask, can I try these on? To try on means to put the clothes on to see if they fit. The place where you do this is called the fitting room or the changing room. Let us practice this sequence. Imagine you are holding a shirt. You ask the assistant, can I try this on? Repeat, can I try this on? Now imagine the clothes do not fit. Maybe they are too big or too small. You can tell the assistant, it is a little too tight. Do you have this in a larger size? Or it is a bit loose. Do you have a smaller one? Tight means it is squeezing you, and loose means it is too big and baggy. Once you decide to buy the item, you go to the register. The cashier might ask, how would you like to pay? You can answer, I will pay by card, or I will pay in cash. After the transaction, they give you a piece of paper. This is called the receipt. Do not throw this away, especially if you might need to return the item. If you buy something and realize later you do not like it, you take it back to the store. You say, I would like to return this, please. They will ask, do you have the receipt? If you have it, you get a refund, which means you get your money back. Let us practice the return phrase. I would like to return this, please. Say it with me. I would like to return this, please. Let us transition to a topic that affects us all, which is health and seeing a doctor. When you do not feel well, there are many ways to describe it. A general phrase is, I am feeling under the weather. This is a classic English idiom that means you are feeling sick, but usually not seriously, just a cold or headache. I am feeling a bit under the weather today. If you are getting sick, but it has not fully started yet, you can say, I think I am coming down with something. To come down with means to start getting an illness. For example, I think I am coming down with the flu. When you go to the doctor, they will ask, what are your symptoms? Symptoms are the signs of illness, like a cough, a fever, or a runny nose. You might say, I have a sore throat and a headache. A sore throat means your throat hurts when you swallow. The doctor might give you a piece of paper for medicine. This is called a prescription. You take the prescription to the pharmacy or the chemist to get your medicine. Some medicine does not need a prescription. We call this over-the-counter medicine. For example, aspirin or cough syrup is usually over the counter. Let us practice describing a symptom. Repeat this phrase. I have a terrible headache. Your turn. I have a terrible headache. Now let us try the idiom. I am feeling a bit under the weather. Say it. I am feeling a bit under the weather. Good job. Now I want to talk about resolving misunderstandings. This is a crucial skill for language learners because misunderstandings happen all the time. Sometimes you say something and the other person looks confused or maybe even offended. You need to clarify quickly. A great phrase to use is, that is not what I meant. This stops the conversation and allows you to explain again. You can follow it up with, let me rephrase that. To rephrase means to say the same thing using different words. For example, if you said something that sounded rude by accident, you can say, I am sorry that came out wrong. What I meant was. This shows you have good intentions. Sometimes the misunderstanding is on your side. Maybe you misunderstood what they said. You can say, I think I might have misunderstood you. Or using an idiom, you can say, I think we got our wires crossed. Getting your wires crossed means there was a confusion in communication, like two telephone wires touching and mixing the signals. It is a very native way to describe confusion. Let us practice fixing a mistake. Repeat after me. I think we got our wires crossed. One more time. I think we got our wires crossed. And now the clarification. Let me explain what I meant. Your turn. Let me explain what I meant. Let us broaden our scope to talking about your home and living situation. People often ask, where do you live or what is your place like? You might live in a house or an apartment, which is also called a flat in British English. You can describe your neighborhood by saying, it is a quiet neighborhood, or it is a very lively area. Lively means full of life energy and people. If you live in the center of the city, we often call that downtown in American English, or the city center in British English. A common question is, do you rent or do you own your home? If you rent, you have a landlord. If you live with other people, they are your roommates or housemates. Let us describe a house. You might say it is a cozy 2-bedroom apartment. Cozy is a wonderful word. It means small but comfortable and warm. It is a positive way to describe a small space. On the other hand, if your house is big, you might say it is very spacious. Spacious comes from the word space, meaning there is lots of room. Let us practice describing your home. Choose the word that fits best, cozy or spacious. Now say, my home is very cozy, or my home is very spacious. Try it now. Now let us discuss directions and getting around a city. Even with maps on our phones, we often need to ask for help. We practiced basic directions in part 1, but let us go deeper. Imagine you are lost. You stop someone and say, excuse me, I am a bit lost. Could you point me in the right direction for the museum? To point someone in the right direction is a helpful phrase. The person might tell you it is within walking distance. This means it is close enough to walk. Or they might say, It is quite a trek. A trek implies a long and difficult walk, so you should probably take a taxi or a bus. They might also use landmarks. A landmark is a recognizable building or object. Turn left at the big church or go past the statue. If you are taking public transport, you need to know about tickets. You might ask, how much is the fare? The fare is the price of the ticket. You also need to know where to get off. Does this bus stop near the station? If you need to change buses or trains, we call that a transfer. I need to transfer at the next stop. Let us practice asking for help when lost. Excuse me, could you tell me how to get to the station? Repeat that, excuse me. Could you tell me how to get to the station? And the response might be, it is just around the corner. Around the corner means very close. Repeat, it is just around the corner. Let us integrate some of these topics into a longer narrative conversation practice. Imagine you are at a coffee shop and you run into an old colleague named David. The conversation starts with greetings, which we learned earlier, but quickly moves to updates. David asks, "Are you still working at the marketing firm?" You answer, "No, actually, I made a change. I am working for a tech company now." David looks interested and asks, "How are you finding it?" The phrase, "How are you finding it?" means do you like it, or what is your opinion of it? You can answer, "I am finding it really rewarding." Rewarding means it gives you a good feeling of achievement. Then David asks about your family. You mention that your sister just had a baby. David says, "Oh wow, send her my congratulations." Then he asks, "Do you want to grab dinner sometime to catch up properly?" You check your phone and see your calendar is full. You use the phrase we learned earlier. I would love to, but this week is crazy. Crazy here means very busy. Can we take a rain check? To take a rain check is a fantastic idiom. It comes from baseball games that were canceled due to rain. It means you accept the invitation, but you want to do it at a later time. David says, "Sure, just let me know when you are free." You say, "I will text you." This interaction is fluid, natural, and polite. Let us practice the refusal idiom. Can we take a rain check? Repeat after me. Can we take a rain check? Excellent. Now let us focus on expressing opinions. In English discussions specifically about movies, books, or news, people will ask, "What do you think?" You can simply say, "I liked it," but that is a bit basic. To sound more advanced, you can say, "Personally, I found it a bit boring." Using personally emphasizes that this is just your view, or you can say, "To be honest, it was not my cup of tea." Not my cup of tea is an idiom that means you did not like it, or it was not suited to your taste. You can use this for music, food, or activities. For example, hiking is not really my cup of tea. If you agree with someone completely, you can say, "I couldn't agree more." This means you agree 100%. If you disagree, you can be polite by saying, "I see your point, but I view it differently." This acknowledges their opinion while stating yours. Let us practice the disagreement. "I see your point, but I disagree." Try saying that gently. "I see your point, but I disagree." Let us add a section on banking and money. This is a practical necessity. You go to the bank to open an account. You say, "I would like to open a checking account, please." A checking account is for daily spending. A savings account is for saving money. The bank teller might ask for some ID. When you use an ATM machine, you might want to take out money. We call this a withdrawal. To withdraw means to take out. If you put money in, it is called a deposit. Sometimes you might check your balance, which is how much money you have. If you have no money and you spend more than you have, you might go into overdraft. Let us practice these terms. I need to make a withdrawal. Repeat. I need to make a withdrawal. I would like to make a deposit. Repeat. I would like to make a deposit. We are also going to touch on the language of internet and technology because it is part of our daily lives. If your internet is slow, you might say, the connection is lagging. Lagging means it is slow or delayed. If you cannot get on the internet at all, you say the Wi-Fi is down. Down means not working. We also talk about scrolling. I was scrolling through social media, and we talk about streaming movies. If your computer freezes, it means the screen is stuck and you cannot move the mouse. You might have to reboot, which means restart the computer. Let us practice a tech complaint. My computer keeps freezing. Say it. My computer keeps freezing. As we move through these topics, notice how your vocabulary is expanding. We are not just learning words, we are learning situations. Context is everything. When you learn the word refund, learn it with the context of a store and a receipt. When you learn the word prescription, learn it with doctor and pharmacy. This method of association helps your brain remember the words faster. Let us take a moment to talk about stress and relaxation. Life can be stressful, and talking about it is a good way to bond with others. You might say, I am really stressed out at work. To be stressed out is the phrasal verb. To relax, you might say, I need to unwind. To unwind means to release tension, like a coiled spring, relaxing. I like to unwind by watching TV, or I like to blow off some steam. To blow off steam means to do something active or energetic to get rid of anger or stress, like going for a run or boxing. How do you unwind? Do you read, do you run, or do you sleep? Let us practice the phrase, I need to unwind after a long day. Repeat. I need to unwind after a long day. We are covering so much ground today. I hope you are drinking water and staying hydrated during this lesson. Speaking requires energy. Let us do a quick check on your pronunciation, specifically the TH sound. This is often hard for learners. It comes in two forms, the voiced TH as in this and that, and the unvoiced TH as in think and thank. To make this sound, stick your tongue out slightly between your teeth and blow air. Do not bite your lip. Let us practice. This thing, that thought, these three, those thousands. It feels funny at first, but it is essential for clear English. Try saying, I think that this is the thing, slowly. I think that this is the thing. Great effort. Now let us look at describing people's personalities. Beyond just nice or mean, we have many rich words. If someone is very social and loves parties, they are outgoing or extroverted. If someone is quiet and shy, they are reserved or introverted. If someone is very smart, you can call them bright or sharp. He is a very bright student. If someone is reliable and trustworthy, you can call them dependable. If someone gets angry easily, they might be short-tempered. Describing people accurately helps you tell better stories. For example, my boss is very sharp, but he can be a bit short-tempered. This gives a very clear picture of the person. Let us practice. She is very outgoing. Say it. She is very outgoing. He is very dependable. Say it. He is very dependable. We have navigated through phone calls, shopping trips, doctor visits, and technical problems. These are the scenarios that make up a life. Now we are going to shift our focus to some very important areas of life, specifically the world of work, business, education, and celebration. These are topics that many of my students ask for because they want to use English to improve their careers and to share their culture with others. So take a deep breath, clear your mind, and let us get ready to learn. Let us begin with the professional world. particularly the job interview. This is often the most stressful situation for any English learner, but with the right phrases, you can sound confident and professional. The most common question in an interview is, "Tell me about yourself." This is not an invitation to tell your whole life story from childhood. It is a request for a summary of your professional life. A great way to start is by saying, "I have a background in marketing," or "I have a background in engineering." This immediately sets the context. Then you can talk about your experience. "I have been working in this industry for 5 years. Notice the grammar here. I have been working. This is the present perfect continuous tense, and it shows that you started in the past and you are still doing it now. It shows stability and dedication. Let us practice this opener. Repeat after me. I have a background in sales. Now you try. I have a background in sales. After talking about your background, you want to highlight your skills. Instead of just saying, "I am good at computers," try using stronger verbs like "I specialize in." For example, "I specialize in software development," or "I have extensive experience in project management." Extensive means you have a lot of experience. Interviewers also love to hear about your soft skills, which are your personality traits that help you work with others. You might say, "I am a team player." This means you work well in a group. Or you might say, "I am a problem solver." This means you are good at fixing difficult situations. Let us practice a confident statement about skills. Repeat this sentence. "I have extensive experience in customer service." Your turn. "I have extensive experience in customer service." Another tricky question in interviews is, what is your greatest weakness? You should never say, "I have no weaknesses," because that sounds arrogant. You should also not say, "I am lazy," because that will cost you the job. The trick is to mention a real weakness, but show how you are fixing it. For example, you could say, "Sometimes I can be a bit of a perfectionist, but I am learning to balance quality with speed." Or public speaking used to be a challenge for me, but I am taking a course to improve it. This shows self-awareness and a desire to grow. Let us practice the phrase "used to be a challenge." Repeat after me. "Public speaking used to be a challenge for me." Your turn. Very good. Now let us imagine you got the job. Congratulations. Now you are in a business meeting. Business meetings have their own special language. To start a meeting, the leader usually says, "Let us get started," or "Let us get down to business." This signals that the small talk is over and work is beginning. During the meeting, you might agree with a colleague. You can say, "I completely agree with that point," or simply, "That is a great point." If you disagree, you must be polite. In business, we never say, "You are wrong." That is too aggressive. Instead, we say, "I see what you mean, but I have a different perspective." Or, "I am not sure I agree with that." This softens the blow. Let us practice polite disagreement. Repeat after me. "I see what you mean, but I have a different perspective." Try it. "I see what you mean, but I have a different perspective." Sometimes in a meeting you need to interrupt someone because you have something important to add. You can say, "May I jump in here?" To jump in means to enter the conversation quickly, or politely say, "Sorry to interrupt, but I would like to add something." If someone interrupts you and you want to finish your thought, you can say, "If I could just finish my point." This is a firm but polite way to reclaim the floor. The floor refers to the right to speak. When the meeting is ending, the leader might say, "Let us wrap up." To wrap up means to finish or conclude. They might also talk about action items. Action items are the specific tasks that people need to do after after the meeting. Let us practice the ending phrase. Let us wrap up for today. Say it. Let us wrap up for today. Communication in business is not just spoken, it is also written. We need to talk about email etiquette. Writing an email is different from texting a friend. You usually start with dear followed by the name. If it is formal use, Mr. or Miss. If you are writing to a colleague, you can just say hi. The opening sentence is often, I hope this email finds you well. This is a standard, polite opening. If you are replying to an email, you can say thank you for your quick response. If you are sending a file like a report or a resume, you use the phrase, please find attached. For example, please find attached the monthly report. We do not say, look at the file. We say, please find attached. To end the email, we use best regards or sincerely followed by your name. Let us practice the attachment phrase. Please find attached the document. Repeat. Please find attached the document. Let us shift our focus now from the workplace to the world of education and learning. Many of you might be students or planning to study abroad. When we talk about university, we talk about our major. Your major is your main subject of study. You can ask someone, what are you majoring in? They might answer, I am majoring in biology. If you are studying very hard for an exam, we have a great idiom for that. We say, I need to hit the books. To hit the books simply means to study with intensity. Another common idiom for students is to pull an all-nighter. This means you stay awake all night to study or finish an assignment. I pulled an all-nighter to finish my essay. It is not healthy, but it happens often. Let us practice talking about your major. I am majoring in English. Say it. I am majoring in English. Now the idiom, I have to hit the books tonight. Your turn. I have to hit the books tonight. When you take an exam, you hope to pass. If you do very well, we say you passed with flying colors. This is a beautiful idiom that means you got a very high score. If you fail, you might have to retake the exam. We also talk about the campus, which is the university grounds and the dorms or dormitories where students live. Living in a dorm is a great way to make friends. You might have a roommate. A common conversation topic among students is the workload. The workload is the amount of work you have to do. You might say, the workload this semester is incredibly heavy. This means you have many assignments and exams. Let us practice the success idiom. She passed the exam with flying colors. Repeat. She passed the exam with flying colors. Now let us move to a lighter and more joyful topic, which is holidays and celebrations. Every culture has its special days, and talking about them is a great way to share your heritage. In English-speaking countries, the big holidays are often Christmas, New Year, and Thanksgiving in America. When a holiday is coming up, people often ask, do you have any plans for the holidays? You can answer, I am going home to visit family. The time around the holidays is often called the festive season. You might say, I am really getting into the festive spirit. This means you are feeling happy and excited about the holiday. On New Year's Eve, which is December 31st, people often stay up until midnight to ring in the new year. To ring in means to celebrate the beginning of. A common tradition is making a New Year's resolution. A resolution is a promise you make to yourself to improve something in the coming year. For example, my New Year's resolution is to improve my English fluency, or my resolution is to join a gym. What is your resolution? Think about it. Now, say it out loud. My resolution is to practice English every day. Excellent choice. We also celebrate birthdays. When it is someone's birthday, we say happy birthday, obviously, but we also ask, what are you doing to celebrate? They might say, I am throwing a party. To throw a party means to organize and host a party. You do not say make a party, you say throw a party. Or they might say, I am just going out for a quiet dinner. If you receive a gift, it is polite to say you shouldn't have. This is a modest way of saying thank you. It implies the person was too generous. Let us practice. I am throwing a party for my birthday. Repeat, I am throwing a party for my birthday. Let us expand on social gatherings and entertainment. When you are chatting with friends, you often talk about movies, music, or TV shows. If you saw a movie that was incredible, you can call it a must-see. That movie is a total must-see. If a song is stuck in your head and it has a good melody, you can call it catchy. That new song is so catchy. If you like to watch many episodes of a TV show in one sitting, we call that binge watching. I binge-watched the whole season last weekend. This is a very modern and common term. Let us practice. I spent the weekend binge-watching my favorite show. Your turn. I spent the weekend binge-watching my favorite show. Sometimes you want to invite a friend to do something with you. You can say, are you free on Friday night? Or do you want to catch a movie? To catch a movie is casual slang for going to the cinema. If they say yes, you need to arrange the details. Shall we meet at the theater at 7? If they say no, they might say, I already have plans. If you are the one saying no, remember to be polite. I would love to, but I am busy. Let us practice the invitation. Do you want to catch a movie this weekend? Repeat. Do you want to catch a movie this weekend? Now let us touch on a slightly more advanced grammar concept that is very useful in conversation, which is expressing regret or talking about past possibilities. We use the modal verbs should have, could have, and would have. These are often pronounced quickly as shoulda, coulda, woulda. For example, if you didn't study for a test and you failed, you can say, I should have studied harder. This expresses regret. If you had the ability to do something but didn't do it, you say, I could have gone to the party, but I was tired. If you want to talk about a result that didn't happen, you use would have. I would have called you, but I lost my phone. These structures help you tell stories about the past with more nuance. Let us practice regret. I should have left earlier. This means you are late now and you regret it. Repeat after me. I should have left earlier. Your turn. I should have left earlier. Let us mix these concepts together into a story. Imagine you are at a work party. This combines business and celebration. You are holding a drink and you see a colleague. You say, hey, John, great party, isn't it? He agrees. You ask, so do you have any plans for the summer holidays? He says, yes, I am going to Italy. You respond, wow, that sounds amazing. I have always wanted to go there. This phrase, I have always wanted to, is perfect for showing interest and envy in a positive way. Then you talk about work. By the way, did you finish that report? He says, not yet, I pulled an all-nighter, but I am still working on it. You say, well, good luck with it. I am sure you will do great. Then you excuse yourself. I am going to go grab some food, catch you later. This flow from small talk to travel plans to work stress and back to casual parting is exactly how real conversations happen. It is not rigid. It moves like a river. Let us add some vocabulary for describing personalities in a work environment. We mentioned team player earlier. What about someone who works very hard? We call them hardworking or diligent. Someone who wants to be successful is ambitious. Someone who is very organized is efficient. On the negative side, someone who delays work is a procrastinator. To procrastinate means to wait until the last minute to do something. We all do it sometimes. You might say, "Stop procrastinating and get to work." Let us practice the positive adjective. She is a very ambitious employee. Repeat, she is a very ambitious employee. Now let us talk about money again, but in a business context. We talked about personal banking earlier. In business, we talk about the budget. The budget is the plan for how much money to spend. If you spend too much, you are over budget. If you spend less, you are under budget. We also talk about profit and loss. If a company is making money, it is profitable. If you are negotiating a salary for a new job, you might ask, is the salary negotiable? This is a brave but important question. You might also ask about benefits. Benefits are things like health insurance, paid vacation time, and retirement plans. These are sometimes called perks. One of the perks of my job is free coffee. Let us practice. Is the salary negotiable? Ask that with confidence. Is the salary negotiable? Let us discuss the concept of remote work. Since the last few years, many people work from home. We call this remote work or telecommuting. You might say, I work remotely 3 days a week. We also have virtual meetings, usually on video calls. A common problem in video calls is the mute button. How many times have you heard you are on mute? This means your microphone is off. Or, can you unmute yourself? We also talk about the home office. I need to upgrade my home office setup. Let us practice the phrase, you are on mute. Say it. You are on mute. It is a simple phrase, but we use it every day. We are covering a lot of ground here. Let us take a moment to pause and reflect on your motivation. Why are you learning English? Is it for a better job? Is it to travel? Is it to make friends? Keep that why in your mind. It will help you when the grammar gets difficult or when you feel tired. Learning a language is a journey of self-improvement. You are not just learning words, you are building a new version of yourself who can communicate with millions more people. That is a superpower. Let us move to the topic of current events and news. In polite society and business, we often discuss what is happening in the world. You might hear someone say, "Did you hear about the news yesterday?" You can answer, "Yes, it is quite shocking, isn't it?" Or "No, I have been out of the loop." To be out of the loop means you have not heard the recent news or information. If you want to know more, you can ask, "Can you fill me in?" To fill someone in means to give them the details. Please fill me in on what happened. Let us practice. I have been out of the loop. Can you fill me in? Repeat. I have been out of the loop. Can you fill me in? We also use specific words to describe trends. If something is becoming popular, we say it is trending. If something is increasing, we say it is on the rise. For example, remote work is on the rise. If something is decreasing, we can say it is on the decline. Sales of CDs are on the decline. Using these phrases makes you sound very analytical and intelligent. Let us practice. Interest in electric cars is on the rise. Say it. Interest in electric cars is on the rise. Let us revisit the idea of polite requests in a professional setting. Instead of saying, "Do this," we use phrases like, "Would you mind?" "Would you mind checking this report for me?" Or, "Could you possibly help me with this?" These are softeners. They make the request sound like a favor rather than an order. If you need to decline a request, you can say, "I would love to help, but my plate is full right now." My plate is full is an idiom, meaning I have too much work to do already. It is a professional way to say no. Let us practice the refusal. I would love to help, but my plate is full. Repeat. I would love to help, but my plate is full. We have arrived at the final stage of our session. In this segment, we are going to focus on the art of connection. We're going to learn how to tell stories, how to express your deepest hopes and dreams, and how to handle complex discussions with grace and fluency. We will also talk about keeping your motivation high for the future. This is the level where you move from just communicating information to actually bonding with people. So sit back, relax, and let us finish this journey strong. Let us start with storytelling. Being able to tell a good story is one of the most attractive social skills you can have. When something funny or interesting happens to you, you want to share it. To start a story, we often use a hook to get the listener's attention. You might say, "You will never guess what happened to me today," or "You won't believe who I ran into." These phrases make the listener curious. They will ask, "What happened?" Once you have their attention, you need to set the scene. We usually use the past continuous tense for this. For example, I was walking down the street and minding my own business when suddenly, the phrase "minding my own business" means you were just doing your normal routine, not looking for trouble. Let us practice the hook. Repeat after me. You will never guess what happened. Your turn. You will never guess what happened. To move the story forward, we use connecting words like then, next, and after that. But to make it more dramatic, we use phrases like all of a sudden or out of the blue. Out of the blue means something happened completely unexpectedly, like lightning from a clear blue sky. For example, out of the blue, my old friend called me. If the story is long and you want to skip to the end, you can use the famous phrase, long story short. This signals that you are summarizing the result. Long story short, I missed the bus and had to walk home. Let us practice the surprise phrase, out of the blue. Say it, out of the blue. And the summary phrase, long story short. Say it. Long story short. Stories are not just about events, they are about feelings. You need to describe how you reacted. If you were very surprised, you can say, my jaw dropped. This is a visual idiom meaning your mouth opened in shock. If you were very scared, you can say, my heart was pounding. If you were very happy, you can say, I was on cloud 9. Cloud 9 represents the highest level of happiness. Imagine you won a lottery. You would say, I was on cloud 9. Let us practice these reactions. Repeat this sentence. When I heard the news, my jaw dropped. Your turn. When I heard the news, my jaw dropped. Now try this one. I was on cloud 9. Say it. I was on cloud 9. Sometimes stories are about coincidences. A coincidence is when two things happen at the same time by accident, but they seem connected. For example, you think of a friend, and then they call you immediately. You can say, what a coincidence. Or you can ask, what are the odds? This is a rhetorical question, meaning the probability is very low. Another great phrase for this is, it is a small world. We use this when we meet someone we know in a place we did not expect. Imagine you are on vacation in Paris and you see your neighbor from home. You would say, wow, it is a small world. Let us practice. What are the odds? Say it. What are the odds? Now let us shift to talking about the future, but not just plans. I want to talk about hopes, dreams, and ambitions. This is where we use more advanced grammar like the future perfect tense. This helps us visualize a completed goal. For example, by next year I will have finished my degree, or by the time I am 30, I will have traveled to 10 countries. This grammar shows confidence. It means the action will be done. Let us practice the future perfect. Repeat after me. By next year, I will have reached my goal. Your turn. By next year, I will have reached my goal. We also use the phrase, I have always wanted to. This expresses a long-term dream. I have always wanted to learn to play the piano. Or, it has always been a dream of mine to write a book. If you want to talk about things that are unlikely but you still dream about them, we use the second conditional. If I won the lottery, I would buy a house on the beach. Note the structure. If past tense, plus would. If I had more time, I would travel more. Let us practice a dream. Repeat this. It has always been a dream of mine to visit Japan. Your turn. It has always been a dream of mine to visit Japan. Sometimes we need to discuss abstract or complex topics. Maybe you are discussing technology or the environment with friends. You need to be able to agree and disagree politely, but also explore ideas. A great phrase to introduce a balanced opinion is, there are two sides to every coin. This means every issue has a good side and a bad side. For example, remote work is great for freedom, but there are two sides to every coin. It can also be lonely. If you want to argue for the opposite side just to test the argument, we call that playing devil's advocate. You can say, I agree with you, but let me play devil's advocate for a moment. What if the internet stops working? This warns the listener that you are just testing the idea, not necessarily attacking them. Let us practice. Let me play devil's advocate. Say it. Let me play devil's advocate. If you are in a debate and you cannot agree, you can use the phrase, let us agree to disagree. This is a very mature way to end an argument without fighting. It means we respect each other's opinions, but we will not change our minds. Another useful phrase is, I see where you are coming from. This validates the other person's perspective, even if you think they are wrong. I see where you are coming from, however, I think the data shows otherwise. Let us practice the peaceful ending. Let us agree to disagree. Repeat, let us agree to disagree. Let us add some very common idioms that natives use to describe life situations. Sometimes you have to do something difficult that you have been avoiding. We call this biting the bullet. I hate the dentist, but I have to bite the bullet and go. It comes from the old days when soldiers had to bite on a bullet during surgery. If you are working on a project and you are very tired and want to stop, you can say, let us call it a day. This means, let us stop working for today. If you accidentally reveal a secret, we say you let the cat out of the bag. Whoops, I let the cat out of the bag about the surprise party. Let us practice. I think it is time to call it a day. Say it. I think it is time to call it a day. Now I want to talk about a phenomenon that happens to almost every language learner. It is called the intermediate plateau. A plateau is a flat area of land high up. In learning, it means you feel like you are stuck. You learned a lot quickly at the beginning, but now you feel like you are not improving. I want you to know that this is normal. It happens to everyone. The way to break through the plateau is to change your routine. If you usually read, try listening. If you usually listen, try speaking. Challenge yourself with harder content just like we are doing today. Consistency is key. Even 10 minutes a day is better than 0. Let us practice some affirmations for learning. I want you to say these with belief. I am getting better every day. Say it. I am getting better every day. Making mistakes is how I learn. Say it. Making mistakes is how I learn. My English is becoming more natural. Say it. My English is becoming more natural. We are going to do a comprehensive review now. I want to weave together the threads of all 4 parts of this series. Think back to the beginning. We met a friend and said, "It is good to see you." We talked about the weather and said, "It is pouring outside." Then we went to a store and asked, "Can I try this on?" We went to the doctor and said, "I am feeling under the weather." We sat in a job interview and said, "I have extensive experience." We ended a meeting by saying, "Let us wrap up." And now we are telling stories with "My jaw dropped" and talking about dreams with "I have always wanted to." Can you see how these pieces fit together? Language is like a giant puzzle. Every phrase you learn is a new piece. The more pieces you have, the clearer the picture becomes. You are building a picture of yourself in English. You are becoming a bilingual person. That is a massive achievement. Let us talk about the concept of burning bridges. To burn a bridge means to destroy a relationship, so you can never go back. Usually we say, "Don't burn your bridges." For example, when you leave a job, be polite because you might need them later. Don't burn your bridges. On the positive side, we have the phrase, "bury the hatchet." This means to make peace after a fight. Let us bury the hatchet and be friends again. These are powerful metaphors. Let us practice. It is never a good idea to burn bridges. Repeat. It is never a good idea to burn bridges. I want to give you a scenario to practice your storytelling right now. Imagine you went to a restaurant and saw a famous person. How would you tell me? You would start with the hook. "You won't believe who I saw." Then the scene. "I was eating dinner when," suddenly. Then the result. "I was on cloud 9. Try to put that together in your head. "You won't believe who I saw." "I was eating dinner when suddenly the president walked in." "I was on cloud 9. It is simple but effective. As we approach the end of this hour, I want to give you some final advice on how to use this podcast effectively. Do not just listen once. Repetition is the mother of skill. Listen to this while you are doing dishes. Listen to it while you are on the bus. The first time you listen, you catch the main idea. The second time, you catch the vocabulary. The third time, you catch the grammar. And the fourth time, you start to predict what I am going to say. That is when you know you have mastered it. Also try the technique called shadowing. I mentioned this before, but it is worth repeating. Shadowing means you speak along with me like an echo. Do not wait for me to stop. Try to match my speed and my melody. If I go up, you go up. If I go down, you go down. This connects your ears to your mouth. It trains your brain to process English in real time. I also encourage you to talk to yourself. It might sound crazy, but it works. Narrate your day. When you are making coffee, say to yourself, "I am making coffee now." When you are looking for your keys, say, "Where did I put my keys?" This keeps your brain in English mode. It reduces the friction when you have to speak to a real person. We have covered thousands of words today. You have invested an hour of your life into your education. That is an investment that will pay dividends. Dividends are the profits you get from an investment. Your dividends will be better job opportunities, more travel experiences, and new friendships. Never underestimate the power of language. It bridges gaps between cultures and hearts. Now I want to ask you a favor. If this series has helped you, please help me. Subscribe to the channel English in Advance. It is free for you, but it means the world to me. It helps me create more content like this. Share this video with a friend who is also learning English. Learning together is always more fun. And leave a comment below. Tell me your story. Tell me your dream. Or just say, "Jessica, I finished the lesson. I want to see how many of you made it to the finish line. Let us end with a final visualization. Close your eyes for a moment if you are safe to do so. Imagine yourself in the future. You are speaking English fluently. You are not searching for words. You are not translating in your head. You are just speaking. You are laughing. You are confident. You feel proud. Hold on to that image. That is where you are going, and I am here to help you get there. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for joining me on this marathon session. My name is Jessica, and this is English in Advance. You have done an amazing job today. Go out there and use what you have learned. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Be brave. Be curious. And most importantly, keep talking. I will see you in the next video. Until then, take care and happy learning.